Hi, and welcome to this short recording to show you how to use the stone recording app. Um, the first thing you'll need to do is to go to the stone recording app website, and it's here at the top. It says stonerecorder.herokuapp.com. I'll include this in the little guide that I'll also provide with this app. Once you've got to the site, you should be presented with this screen, and there's a whole series of boxes at the top that contain the basic information about each of the sites. If you want to know what each of the boxes should contain, you can click on Help here, and you'll see it brings up a screen that's got a short description of what should be in each box, and then you can just click on Close. The basic information about each of the sites is already included within the app, but you won't see anything in these boxes until you've gone down to this bit on the left and selected a structure type. So we have two elements here. We've got the structure type on the left, forts, mile castles, etc. And then within each of the structure types on the right, we've got structural elements. And these are foundations, footings, offset, and so on. So the first thing we need to do, if we wanted to actually do some recording, is decide that we want to record a particular structure type. So let's just, for the sake of argument here, choose fort. You click on the picture fort, and it brings up a map, and here it says click on dot to make selection, and you can only click on the ones that have got a black dot, not the white dots. That's because all the ones with the white dots don't have any upstanding remains, so they wouldn't obviously be part of the stone recording. So let me just choose, I don't know, let's choose Burzardwald here. We click on that, and you'll see at the top now that this has got most of the information filled in. So we've got site number, Burzardwald, Cumbria, Waterhead, National Grid, monument number, and so on. If there's something missing, that means that it's something for you to fill in. So for instance, you can see here that the bit that's missing, it says who are the surveyors and who it's checked by. The check by will be done by somebody in the WallCAP team, but certainly here you need to put who did the survey. If you've got any pictures that relate to the site that you're recording, there's a little button here that says upload image, and you just need to go up to here and choose a file, select a file that's obviously a JPEG file, and would be better because it's smaller, and let's say open. It appears here, and then you can just click on upload picture. And then you'll see here it says uploaded successfully. Then if you just click on the back arrow here, we'll go back to the site, and there you can see it's the site 9 JPEG. I've just chosen that as a random picture. What you can do when you're uploading your pictures is make the first 2 or 3 characters of each picture your initials. That means we know who the pictures belong to, and give the pictures a name that is obvious. You might want to make sure that you include the site number, for instance, in there, and a very short description in the file name. We don't want any massively long file names, but if you think about when we get the pictures at our end, we need to understand what the pictures are about, and that means we need a decent description. If you upload a picture and you don't like it, there's a delete button here, and that allows you to delete the picture, and you'll see that it will eventually disappear. When you've uploaded any file, any pictures that you want to, we'll just click on back here. That'll take us back to this point here. It's a bit slow to draw. If we're going to, once we've decided what structure type we want, if we want them to record a structural element, we need to choose the site that we want, and then choose the structural element that we want. So I've got one example here that's already got some data in here, and we're going to go do curtain wall, because a lot of you will be doing actually the curtain wall rather than lots of things to do with forts. And again, we're going to make a selection. I'm going to choose site number 29, which is actually wall mile 29, and I click on that, and that's black carts, and that's because there's already some data in about black carts because it was done pre-lockdown, which is quite a long time ago now. So if you look at the bottom here, we can see that we've got all the drawings loaded for black carts. So these are the drawings that were provided for each of the sections that relate to black carts. And as we scroll down and we eventually get to the bottom, we start to see that we've got other drawings in here that have got annotation on. And these, of course, these are the original drawings. So as we go through, we'll find that we've got the relevant drawings. And these are here really as a reference for you, so that when you're filling in the other sheets, you've got some idea of what it is that you actually recorded more than a year ago now. Okay. So if I want to record, say, coarse rubble that relates to black carts, I can click on this button, coarse rubble here, and it brings up the stone recording sheet. And then each of these elements needs to be filled in for the stone recording sheet. So site number, EID is element ID. So you've got a site number, which is the general site number, that might be black carts. EID is the individual number for this record. So you've got a site ID and then an individual number for this record. The stone ref thing here is for you to put in the reference that you used on your original drawing. So it's really useful if we give a set of numbers to all the stone records to have a stone reference that is something that you used in the field, and then we can relate the two together. The face, drop down box here, just click on it, north, south, east, west, or top, which is possible. The course, where in the wall it is, starting at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, counting upwards. The element is coarse rubble. You don't need to change that because you've already clicked on the screen that said that you wanted to record coarse rubble. And then what we're doing here is we're recording each individual stone within that coarse rubble. So we want a length, height, depth, and if it's a column, obviously as part of it, you want a diameter as well. If you go up to the help sheet up here, you'll see as we scroll down, there's an explanation of the various elements within the stone recording. And when you see dimensions, you'll see that it explains that quite often you'll only have a face length. So the face is the length, and a height because it's buried in a wall. And you won't have a depth because you can't actually measure the depth. So some of the times what will happen is that when you're recording the stone record, some of these measurements just won't appear. For a lot of this, what you need to do is not only look at the little help files that are in here, so like help if I wanted colour. If you have access to a Munsell colour chart, then you can put a Munsell colour in. If you don't, then you have to use a generalised colour. What I would say here is it's quite important that you are doing this alongside Ian's various guides that he produced, because the help files here are just a very short summary of the much more detailed stuff that Ian's produced. So it'd be really useful for you to make sure you're looking at that at the same time. And then your broad geology, sandstone or limestone. Does it have a Lewis Howe? Is it reused? Are there any mason's marks? That's just to say yes or no, so that we could actually at some point bring out all the stones that got mason marks. The main tooling type, there's a little symbol there. If you click on that, that gives you the main tooling type, and it's really a visual guide so that you know which one to use. And if you click on that, it'll fill in the box. And then again, using Ian's guide, we need to start recording grain size, grain shape, sphericity, grain sorting and grain types. These are all drop down boxes. It's a good idea to have everything that you need in place before you start filling in the boxes. So if you actually record a piece of stone I'm making a note, just know that you need grain size, grain shape and so on, and work out what they are in advance. You'll probably find that as you go from one stone to the next, a lot of this information will stay pretty much the same. And then we go on to, at the bottom here, cement, veins, textures. Again, you'll need to make sure that you've got Ian's guides with you. One thing with this is you are restricted to the list. You can't start typing in new things, so you can only choose something that's on the list. You'll notice sometimes though, like with bedding scale and fossils, it's just a box that you fill in. That's because we won't know all the different types of fossils that are possibly going to be discovered in your recording. So there you need to put in a description. And again, try and follow a standardized way of doing that. If there's anything that doesn't make sense to you within this, or you say that actually when I wanted to fill in the cement box I thought it was something different or whatever, you've got notes and comments here, and then you can type in exactly that sort of thing. The fossil photo file name, that's if you wanted to actually see a picture of a fossil that you've uploaded. You can upload the picture. So if I clicked on site 9 and upload the picture, it should bring in, yeah, there's a picture there. That's actually a sketch of a section actually, but essentially it's the same thing. Whatever appears in here, you click on it and you upload the picture, and then you get the annoying squirrel, which was one of the test photographs. At the bottom you've got recorded by, checked by, date created, last modified. Recorded by is you. The date created is when you first created the record. If you come back to the record and subsequently make changes to it because you've decided that you haven't recorded things quite correctly, then we need a last modified date. So we need to know when it was created and when you last modified it. When you think that everything in the form is fine, you've got a record complete here, and then you just tick that. And that says to us that you think you filled everything in here that you possibly can. And that's at the stage when we can do a check by on it. So there's no point checking half filled in records. So we check them when we're pretty sure that the record's complete. Once you've done that, you need to click on this button here, which is the important bit, which says submit. It just gives you a list on the screen, which has got all the different categories you've been filling in and what you filled in alongside them. And then if you want to go back to the main bit of the thing, you click on home, and then we're back to the main recording form here, and then we have to start again and go through on to the next one. The reason we're doing this on the internet is that means any of you who have got access to a computer or a tablet that's got a browser on it, and it can be a PC or it can be an iPad, should be able to use this form to fill it in. The key thing is just work through each of the types that you think you've recorded, and don't forget to upload any images that you've got, so that we've got a good idea of what it is that you've been recording, and make sure that you have Ian's guides with you when it comes to recording the geology. The help files are useful here. I mean, they do have the information in, that's sort of basic information, but they're no substitute for the detail that are in Ian's guide. If you have any questions or problems with it, then the best thing to do is to email and say, I've clicked on this button and it doesn't work, or I've clicked on this button and it doesn't have the choices that I wanted, because I think there should be another choice there, and then we can work from there and make sure that after a short while this app will work properly as it's intended to do. You have to go through a testing stage to be able to make sure that everything works properly. Okay.